Okay, so I want you to go into Falstad and I want you to play with a potentiometer. And again, this is falstad.com/circuit. You can Google it. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to draw a passive component. And I'm going to add a potentiometer here. And there we are. And notice this one's a 1K because we got 500 on each side. Over here is where we adjust that resistance. And this is the center leg that moves back and forth. Now, this is the schematic picture because obviously it would be pretty awkward to have a round symbol in there. But basically, what you've got here is these are the outer two legs on each end, and this is the center. So you would have your three legs here. This one goes up and into this resistive material, like that. So all of this is going to always be your full amount. So if I measure from here to here, I'm always going to measure 1K. But then you've got the center leg that comes up, and it comes into this wiper. And this wiper, which is supposed to be a straight line, goes and hits this at various places. So it just kind of depends on where you set that wiper as to what value it's going to read. So this one's sitting dead in the middle, and so you got 500 ohms from the middle leg to this one and 500 ohms from the middle leg to that one. So I want you to do exactly what I just did here, and you're going to need to take a screenshot of this and submit it. I want you to see it. I want you to play with it, and I'm going to ask you to set it to a particular value. So the first thing, if I want to change that, I'm going to wait till it's blue, highlight it, and say edit. So we're going to make it a 10K because everything we dealt with thus far has been a 10K. So what I want you to do now is add some ohm meters. So I'm going to go to right here, and I'm going to add an ohm meter. And I want you to add one here. And remember, if you just click again, it'll make another. And I want you to add one down here at the bottom as well. And I have to hit escape to make it stop. So what we're going to do first is I'm going to draw some wires. And I want you to see that no matter where I adjust this ohm meter, or where I adjust this potentiometer, it's going to read 10K always. So see how I'm moving the slider over here on the right, and the middle leg is changing its value in reference to the outside legs, but they're not, the overall resistance is not changing. So if I come in here and add some more wires, first to my center leg, I'm going to go here first. Missed that one just a little bit, so I'm going to straighten it up just for those of you that like to see everything nice and straight. Now I'm reading from the center leg to this outside leg. So now this one's going to vary. Actually, I've got to take this other one out. I'm getting a little bit of a weird loop right here, having that. So I'm on, we're feeding through all these loops, and this is why you have to isolate resistances when you're measuring them. So I'm going to disconnect the bottom. We've already shown that it's doing it. So now I'm reading 4.8K. And if you'll watch, it's going to vary between 10K and as low as 50 ohms on this particular one, and that may happen in the real world as well. But it is based upon where I set that center leg. And I'm going to draw the other one there. Now we won't get a loop on this one, just simply because we're measuring center leg. But if you notice, these total up to 10K always, and it's just mirroring what's already on the resistor or potentiometer itself. But that center leg where it's tapping that full 10K is going to always divide this into parts that add up to the total. And to show you that it's really not feeding back, I'm going to get rid of this leg here, and you'll see it will remain at 2.6K if I can click delete. Bad gummy. You have to hit this thing sometimes just right. There we go. So 2.6K, and you can see it at the bottom as well. We really didn't have to add the ohm meters, but I wanted you to see that. So what I want you to do is I want you to add in a 10K resistor, and I want you to don't worry about the bottom ohm meter. You can put it in and play with it if you wish, but don't need it. But the schematic I want you to submit me, or the pictorial of what you did, is simply I'm going to come back and add this wire. Is simply this 10K set to where one side's 2.5 and the other side is 7.5. Now I'm not going to do that because I want you to do that, and then I want you to take a copy of my screenshot to do that. So I want you to come in here and play with this and just see what a potentiometer does and how we can use it. Now, while we're in here, I do want to point out one fact. When you're using a potentiometer, and I'm going to pause the video to add this in so we don't get too much time. Okay, when you're using a potentiometer, you can't put it in a circuit like this and it really be of any use, because I can vary the resistance on that potentiometer, but I'm on the outside leg to the outside leg, which really does me no good as far as having a potentiometer there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reorient this just a little bit and change it. We can do that. That'll work too. Let's get rid of that. So I'm going to shorten this potentiometer's legs down just a little bit. So what I'm going to do now, instead of drawing to the outer leg, is I'm going to go to the middle leg with this. Hard to hit when you can't see here. We'll do it like this. Draw, add wire. There we go. So now I'm on that center leg here. I think it's really hard to tell. Let me zoom in a little bit. Add that. Options and center this, I think. There's a center circuit somewhere, I just can't remember. Anyway, let me try to get to that center leg here. We're in that. Oh, I see where it is now. Alright, I think I can get it now. It's coming down here. I kept looking for the center. And now this is varying the resistance right here. So you'll see current flow change as I vary the resistance. In fact, rapidly when I get closer to 0. So that's why oftentimes you'll see it done like that, and this leg will be open, because otherwise you're just going outside leg to outside leg. You're always going to use a center leg there. Now what people will do to kind of keep it clean and all of that is this right here. Now let me show you. Let's see if I can get rid of this wire. Just going to remove that component and start over. How about that? Get rid of this wire. Now what they'll often do, and we'll even get rid of this wire, what they will often do is add the potentiometer, put it right here, draw this wire. Of course, we're still outside leg to outside leg, but what you can do is this. Come off that middle leg, come right here, and tie it with this one. Now, what we're doing is, of course, remember, current takes the path of least resistance. So the center leg being tied to this top leg is always going to provide an equal or lower path of resistance. So it does the same thing. I just have two of those legs tied together, and it's real easy just to tie the middle to an outside leg, and we accomplish the same thing. So I wanted you to see how oftentimes these schematics do and why we tie an outside leg to the center leg and then have the other leg in use, and that's exactly why. So be prepared to send me a screenshot of this, and what I need of that screenshot is a potentiometer set to read 7.5K on one side and 2.5K on the other. It doesn't matter which side is which, but that's what I want.